Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Office Bloke Daz.
I'm Gaynor.
Two of us here today. The USA being so big, or North America in general, when you take into consideration Mexico, Canada, you know, the USA and Canada together alone is humongous, isn't it? Yeah. But I mean, some of the small remote towns you get, you know, they're the places that I like to visit.
Yeah.
Because you get like a real feel for sort of like a country, if you know what I mean. When you go to these big popular cities, you know, New York to the world, and Los Angeles and things like that, it's not really like a feel for what the country's about, is it?
No.
But this is inside Florida's remote swamp town, the Everglades. Let's get into it.
The number one thing they want to know is how the smuggling does down there.
There were a lot of drug smugglers here.
It got real wild. Every one of us went to prison. So far, I've done altogether over 25 years.
By midday today, 23 people were taken into custody. Hundreds of law enforcement officers had set up a blockade around Everglades City.
We got a gator right there in the water. Despite decades of deadly hurricanes and a 1980s drug bust that locked up nearly every adult male in town, Everglades City is miraculously still standing. Used to be its main street.
Now, we are in the worst drought we've had in 21 years.
But there are no roads.
Outside of Alligator Alcatraz. And we're gonna try to get in there. So here we go. We wanted to see if we could drive up to Alligator Alcatraz, or is that not possible?
Who are you guys with?
Sitting on the edge of the Everglades, Everglades City is quite remote. In fact, it's closer to Alligator Alcatraz than to the nearest Publix. Just under 400 people live there today, and it's one of the only towns in the Sunshine State that's shrinking. We drove deep into the Everglades to see Everglades City and experience a side of Florida that's fading. Crossing the
Everglades Alcatraz, is that where the Trump or the administration in the USA want to put migrants that came in?
Oh, I don't know.
Like a holding area. Am I right in that? Thinking I'm sure I read it somewhere like that. That's why it's kind of like springs to my mind. It's all like the name of it, because I've never heard of it before until I read about it a few weeks ago, and then it's on here.
Bridge into Everglades City, the first thing we noticed was just how empty it was. We drove around for almost 30 minutes and didn't see a soul. We decided to stop by its most popular lunchtime restaurant and hoped to meet some people there.
Bro, how's that gator burger? Let's open up.
I haven't tried it yet.
Gator burger.
I was saying, I got a place on my phone.
Here we go with the
It tastes
gator.
like fish, right?
Dude, it is good. It is good. It definitely tastes like chicken, but like an aquatic chicken. Roughly everyone in Everglades City comes from 5 families, and thankfully, members from one of those families walked in moments later.
My family, we're one of the oldest families down here. We're the Daniels family. My family had an island up this way called Fagahatchee Island. It's a 60-acre oyster shell island that the Indians made. The government made everybody move off of all the islands in the middle 60s. Then my family come to Chokoloskee. They bought an acre of land. We still got that land, so we call it the Daniels Compound.
The Daniels Compound, I love it.
In the middle 60s, they done away with all commercial fishing and went over to tourism. We all had to find other ways to make a living.
Anybody who's got money and wants to go fishing and catch good fish.
Yeah.
This is the place to go.
Chokoloskee's made out of oyster shell. The Indians made 47 of them islands like Chokoloskee. It's 152 acres. Go down there and pick up an oyster shell, put it in your pocket. You say, I've got 25 cents in my pocket. Because that's what every oyster shell's worth.
What do people who live here do for work now?
Well,
what was that?
We hold pot, marijuana.
I heard there was a period.
Lot of airboats, a lot of fishing guys.
Yes, there were a lot of drug smugglers here.
Chokoloskee is known as the island of gold. It goes to the marijuana. It got real wild, it got crazy. Every one of us went to prison. But so far, I've done altogether over 25 years. It ain't worth it. No matter how much money you got, it's not worth it. It was a way of life. We had to find out for ourselves.
It's not surprising that this guy right here went to prison simply because nearly every adult male in Everglades City did in the 1980s.
Day to day, 23 people were
What's that all
taken
about?
into custody. Hundreds of law enforcement officers
Easy money,
had set
isn't
up
it?
a
Smuggling.
blockade around Everglades City. The Drug Enforcement Administration says this community of 700 people is the hub of an international marijuana smuggling ring.
Now, these are your next-door neighbors. They're just typical American people.
They're breaking the law, but they're not violent criminals.
Smuggling along the secret bayous and mangrove islands has been a craft handed down from generation to generation.
Which was a vital part of the Miami drug trade, which accounted for nearly all of the marijuana and cocaine that came into America. The 10,000 islands that we would later explore in an airboat were perfect for smuggling drugs, since only natives could make their way around them. Do you all like it here? I mean,
It's home.
We left the restaurant and continued our tour of the town. What's crazy, Drew, is that this used to be its main street. This is like one of the most unique main streets in America, where only K-12 in Florida with one single campus, about 8 kids per graduating class. This is a small world detail. I used to play them in sports. I went to a small school about an hour from here. So I remember playing Everglades City in sports, and they had the same woman who coached all their teams. Their baseball team, their basketball team. They would have the same players on every team, but this is their baseball field where they played. Pretty nice, and it's right on the water.
Guess it's probably only one school there, right?
Look at how high the water level is after just a minor storm this week. A minor storm. The parking lot is flooding here, so that might explain why this restaurant over here is destroyed. Then we went to the Everglades City Museum to learn more about the town's history and its famed founder, Baron Collier.
He was a high school dropout turned advertising tycoon. By the time he's 26 years old, he's made his first million in streetcar advertising. This map is actually here because people come here and they say, well, we want to drive into Everglades National Park. And Matt and I look at him and we say, well, you can't. And they say, what do you mean you can't? And it's all water-based from here. So we are all the way up here. Okay. Here you can see that dotted line is the Wilderness Waterway, but there are no roads. If you want to drive into the park, you got to go all the way around the Homestead side.
Not gonna lie, I didn't know about this.
No.
I mean, I've heard of the Everglades and things like that, but I didn't realise that's what it was like that down one side.
No, I didn't either.
It's I thought it was like in the Everglades Park, and it was like a part of the national park.
I didn't even think about it. I just thought it was a swamp area full of crocodiles or alligators or whatever.
Yeah. I didn't know it was like that big.
In a way, it's going back to its roots of being a tourist town, because we heard people...
It's always been that way. People will say, oh, well, it's rooted in this or that, or you know,
commercial fishing we've heard,
Well, commercial fishing is one of the things, but all that stuff comes later. This is an island. And they're not making any more islands. Certainly, if you can't come waving enough money, people will sell you the property. But at the same time, there are also a lot of things like basic stuff like connectivity. It's gotten a lot better in the last couple of years. I've watched it go from like where kids can't go home and do their homework because they don't connect.
They told us to check out Chokoloskee Island, which is even more remote than Everglades City as it sits at the mouth of the 10,000 Island, which is a beautiful and vast chain of islands and mangrove islets that Native Americans occupied for thousands of years. But despite the threat of hurricanes, Chokoloskee Island has become a popular RV destination. But we visited during summertime and it was completely empty. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, please make sure to subscribe to Roka News. Our mission is to capture the world without bias or fear. We tell many untold stories on this YouTube channel, and we also cover the most important issues of the day in our daily We the 66 newsletter. If you want to support our mission financially and get access to this unbiased journalism, click the link in our pinned comment. You can count on 4 need-to-know stories every day and a deep dive in your inbox. Thank you for watching this video. Now back to the Everglades. And we didn't see anyone until we went by the famous Smallwood store on the water. So these are the 10,000 islands on this side. The start of the 10,000 islands.
The building was like a trading post and general store here on the island.
Even Alligator Alcatraz, you can see a glow from that place now.
Do a lot of people live on Chokoloskee?
Not really. There are 3 mobile home parks here. You know, this was open back whenever there were no roads.
Yeah.
Now that there are roads, we're at the end of it. Literally.
Wow.
We are the southernmost point
It's
on
proper
the
remote, isn't it?
West Coast.
How long have you been here?
I grew up here on the island. My grandfather was the man that built the store. He also owned the island, you know, pretty much. He surveyed the island and he farmed this whole island back in the 1900s. The store he started in 1906, so everything came by boat. It's the post office there as you come in the door. There's the pharmacy section. This is the center where the general store was, and that is where they would hang the furs and the hides that the hunters, the Seminoles, and the Miccosukees would bring in and trade to get supplies.
What Lynn had told us aligned with what the Daniels told us.
We want you to settle a debate. We heard from a family called the Daniels here that this used to be a commercial fishing town, and then we heard at the History Museum that it was fundamentally a tourism town. Which do you think is more correct?
Both.
Both.
Well, my husband was a commercial fisherman. You know, he stone crabbed for 40 years. Whenever they first created the park, you know, they said that they would never hinder the commercial fishing people here because this is what these people had done for generations. It was their livelihood. They said that we were just like the Indians. It was like a treaty and it could be broken, and they did. They regulated it away. They regulated it to where we couldn't fish within 4 miles of the shoreline. During the season, he spends more time on a boat than he does on land. You know, they get out, they leave somewhere between 3 and 4 in the morning, and they don't get home until 6 o'clock at night, 7 o'clock sometimes. It's a long day. And Aunt Wilma was a hurricane that happened in October. And see, when you start crabbing, stone crabbing, you start throwing your traps, I think it's October 5th. So everybody had put all their traps overboard, and then here comes this hurricane. And they're not insurable. And whenever you've got $300,000 worth of traps and it destroys them, and you're 60-some years old, do you want to start over? No. So we sold the crab boat and we started doing boat tours here in the Everglades National Park, and the hours are better and so is the money, and you don't have to fight the park.
So it kind of worked out for you all. Did it work out for
It
the
did
town?
for us. It didn't for the town.
What would be your hope for this island in this area of Florida?
Oh, I don't think my hope for this island matters anymore. You know, there's people that have their own ideas about what's going to go on. The only thing that I'm glad, and it took several generations to get over, is that it's surrounded by the park, because that limits the growth.
Very nice.
And if it doesn't limit the growth, we're going to look just like the rest of Florida, and that's not what I want to see happen.
Today, the two towns' economies are almost completely made up of tourism. They're no longer the stone crab capital of the world as they were once known. So, you know what? We decided to support the local economies and check out these tourist traps for ourselves.
Isn't that crazy how the whole world comes together since you watch a man put his face inside of an alligator's mouth? It would be a whole lot better if politicians did that, I feel like. On the Brighton Reservation, where my family is from, we do have competitions known as freestyle alligator wrestling competitions, where you get together and try to wrestle a gator the craziest way you can every year. I one time, like I said, to try and impress a woman, tried wrestling a gator blindfolded. I had my thumb bit off and thankfully reattached, bit on my forearm right here, and then bit on my leg as well. So it was not my smartest moment. Hey, go figure, you live and learn, and you were young, but we still got the girl, and I got 2 kids from her, so. It kind of worked. After the wars, many of us did get pretty much isolated out here to the Everglades or in the swamps, where there weren't really many stuff for us to eat in terms of mammals. The one thing that kept a lot of us alive was our relationship with the alligator. The alligator guys pretty much provided everything. It provided food, the hide provided clothing, even you could get money off of it. The bones provided tools, the teeth provided tools. Pretty much the whole gator got used. In the words of my father, He said they would eat gator from the rooter to the tutor. However, though, one thing we did discover out here, guys, was when you were out hunting alligators, and if you kill a gator while hunting, that meat will spoil in about 2 hours. So you really don't got a lot of time to do much once the gator dies. So the best way to counteract that was catching alligators alive. Behind the alligator's tail, you would dive on the gator head first to grab onto its neck and its back head part and pretty much wrestle with them. The Seminole Wars, guys, lasted from about 1812 to about 1845. It was when the United States military and the government was coming out here to the Florida swamps to pretty much annihilate and wipe out the Seminole and the Miccosukee people and recapture the black Seminole runaway slaves that lived amongst them. However, after about 45 years of fighting all three of those groups throughout the whole state and chasing them through the swamps, the military and the government realized they were never going to win that war and thus gave up and left all of us alone. Hence, the Seminole and Miccosukee tribes are the only tribes in America to have never been defeated or to have never been removed from their homelands by the United States military and government, hence why we are known as the unconquered.
That's why this statue sits outside of FSU's Doak Campbell Stadium, the unconquered statue, although this year FSU is anything but. Anyways, our next stop was to interview an airboat captain who could show us around the glades.
You said he wanted to go swimming, right? We're gonna need one of these guys for bait. All right, so our next spot's our best chance to find a gator. Okay. All right? Now, we are in the worst drought we've had in 21 years. Our water levels should be 2 feet higher than they are right now. Like all the native Indians?
Yeah.
They'd actually canoe through here. And they had flat back canoes and they'd dig them out and go through the Everglades. And now they're all on reservation. How did the python show up in the Everglades?
It wasn't here originally. Did someone
buy a pet? They get too big, they dump them into the Everglades. Now the rest is Hurricane Andrew. 1992, it destroyed a serpentarium, releasing 3,000 snakes at once.
I read about
that population was 33 years ago. Population now, 150,000 to 400,000. They don't know how many snakes are here. Biggest snake they captured last year was just shy of 19 feet. She weighed 225 pounds, had 122 eggs inside of her. Also 6 sets of deer hooves. That means she's eaten 6 deer in her life.
Wow.
You got a gator right there in the water.
His legs were going numb.
Right in the middle of the Everglades.
One thing about the alligators out here is they're dark black. Anytime you see them in a zoo or freshwater, they're light brownish green.
How many gators are in Florida, roughly?
They estimate 3.5 million.
We saw the gator and left for our final stop just 15 miles away, Alligator Alcatraz. All right, we are outside of Alligator Alcatraz.
Tonight, President Trump says this massive migrant detention camp built in just 8 days has an unusual deterrent to prevent any escapes.
Don't run in a straight line. Run like this.
He calls it Alligator Alcatraz.
It's meant more as a joke, but the more I thought of it, the more I liked it.
With gators clearly visible outside, NBC News getting a first look inside.
The partnership with the state has been great, right?
Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons telling us the goal is to keep detainees here no longer than 2 weeks, where they can appear before a judge and be deported from the camp's existing runway.
And it's right here in the middle of the Everglades. It's obviously been subject to a lot of controversy. Some have called it Alligator Auschwitz. Some protesters whose stand seems to be a little idle today, and we're gonna try to get in there. So here we go.
Maybe it's like... We're gonna go up to security here. We might be cooked. Hello, sir. How you doing? We're journalists, and we wanted to see if we could drive up to Alligator Alcatraz, or is that not possible?
Who are you guys with?
We're with Roca News.
You have a business card?
Yeah, well, here's...
Are you like an actual news company?
Yeah, actual, like...
Let our bosses know that you can't buy, but unfortunately, it's for this we can let you in.
After getting shut down at the entrance, we continued driving through the Everglades, now in the pouring rain. It was our latest bout with Florida's violent tropical weather, but after spending time in Everglades City and Chokoloskee, we knew that the last thing we could do in this rain was complain about the weather. And we also knew that if we kept going, the sun would shine down on us soon. And it did. Stay tuned for our next and final video in our South Florida series, and thank you so much for watching.
Interesting. That's the way they put it across there. That road canoe is quite like that.
Yeah.
It's unbiased news. They say it's. But he's put acroff very well.
Yeah.
He's meeting the local people, getting a taste for the town. I was right about that Alcatraz, Alligator Alcatraz.
Yeah.
I never read about it somewhere. Did it ever get put into purpose? I don't know if it was. It looked like it was all kitted out, but I'm not sure if anyone's actually gone there. Yeah.
Now about the crabs, do you have to stone them?
Stone crabs.
Yeah, is that the name of them? Stone crabs, or is that how they get
No,
them?
I don't think. I think you catch them in like
a net.
No, they're like what did they call them before? They're like baskets. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure I think they're called stone crabs.
Oh, okay.
I don't think you throw rocks at them to kill them and then gather them all up. I might be wrong.
Yeah.
That might be a technique they do use, but I've never seen it.
Yeah.
But the way I think the way I've seen them before I've watched like
I've seen them being caught in like
watch things like Deadliest Catch and stuff like that when they get like it's not. I don't know if you can do crabs on it, but it's like the ones I've seen is like it is king crabs, isn't it?
Yeah,
sort of things like that they go out for, and the way they put them there on like on the floor bed, it's like crates that sit on the floor bed.
Yeah, they're huge, aren't they?
Yeah, and it's they crawl. I guess all the crabs go into them and like they close up or whatever. But very interesting. It's very remote, isn't it? I don't think I could live like that.
I was going to say, I guess when they said she's been there since like she was born, she's probably never left, probably never gone on vacation anywhere. I couldn't imagine living like that.
No, I mean they're like it's the whole life down there, isn't it? It's just you're on one vacation when you're in Florida, I guess, aren't you? It's a vacation spot apart from when the bad weather comes in.
Yeah.
Then it's a sitting duck, isn't it, for the
storms,
for the hurricanes that come in. It's like you see how high that water was, excluding just from a minor storm. He said. So if they get, imagine if they get a really sort of big one, it's going to wipe out, isn't it? So like start from the beginning. So Hurricane Irma, they said there after that, you see how deep that was.
Yeah.
Don't know, but I guess it's just starting again every few years.
So if there's only so many people there, how do they like procreate? Because they're all
they said there was only 5 families, didn't they?
Yeah.
And then obviously 5 families become 2.5 families type thing. But I guess you're not that far away from civilization. It's not like you're living on a remote island somewhere that you can't access. You can drive up the coast and you'd be in bloody wherever. Sarasota in good 5 hours or 6 hours or whatever it may be. I don't know how far away it was, but it's up that coast, isn't it? And then you got all the way up to the Panhandle. Driving up there, what could that take? 10 hours, maybe.
Yeah, but I'm saying then you have to come back, don't you?
Yeah, but that's what you do, and it's people going in and out all the time, I reckon. Literally, because that's how it happens. Yeah. Anyway, it's interesting. I like finding stuff like that because I had no idea that the Everglades was like that.
No,
it's not what I had in my mind.
No.
I've never been down that way. I've never been to that side of Florida.
I actually thought the Everglades were just a part of Florida that just went through.
I thought it was in the national park, and it was like an area which is swampland sort of thing. But I didn't realise they had all the mangrove sort of like islands like that leading up to the sort of like coast of the country. But yeah, very interesting.
Yeah.
Hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Cheers.